At Forecaster, we work with a lot of companies and a lot of founders that are really trying to get a handle on the unit economics of their business. Now, by unit economics, I mean looking at each individual transaction within their business and trying to understand how money flows and how much profit they're making on each individual transaction. Now, this can really help to determine the scalability of a business and also help to identify potential weaknesses and some opportunities. A big component of a company's unit economics is understanding how much is your cost to acquire customers. Now, this is known as the customer acquisition cost, or commonly referred to as CAC or CAC. Now, this question is so common that we wanted to make a video going through customer acquisition cost in detail. Now, we're going to start by defining customer acquisition cost. We're going to talk through why you should even care about it, how to calculate it, and go over some specific examples. There's a lot of good content to cover, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. But before we do, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the thumbs up button. This type of engagement will really help the channel grow. And if you're a founder and you're in need of a great financial model, be sure to check out Forecaster. We'll have a link to the website in the description. At Forecaster, we help founders build great financial models so that they can understand their numbers, make better decisions, and get funded. As a customer, you'll work with experts to make sure that your model is completely bulletproof. We'd love to chat with you and see how we can take your business to the next level. And with that, let's jump into it. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, customer acquisition cost is essentially trying to define the average cost that it takes for you to get one specific customer. I want to start by talking about why you should care about customer acquisition cost, or CAC. You may hear me refer to them in two separate ways throughout the video: CAC, customer acquisition cost. Now, CAC is really important because it allows you to understand the scalability of your company whenever it comes to customer acquisition. So, for example, if it on average costs you $100 to get a customer that only pays you $10 per month, that might not be a great customer acquisition cost, because that customer is going to have to stick around for at least 10 months for you to get paid back, and even longer than that for you to start making a profit off of that customer. On the other hand, if you have a customer acquisition cost of, say, $20, and the same customer is still paying you that $10 per month, that's only 2 months to get paid back, and that starts to look a lot more attractive. Having proven data on customer acquisition costs can really allow you to get a handle on what I refer to as the money machine. Now, you may have heard some investors or some other founders talk about this, but it's essentially this concept of putting $1 into your business and getting more than $1 out. So, if I understand that my customer acquisition cost is X, and that the average lifetime profit that I get per customer is Y, generally, as long as Y is more than X, then I have a scalable strategy for growing my business. There's other nuance to this that I'll go into in another video, and it's really more of a deep, holistic dive on unit economics. Things like how long it takes me to get paid back on customer acquisition, and understanding the lifetime value of each customer and how it relates to customer acquisition cost. I'll save those for another video. For now, let's just focus on CAC, which brings me to the second part of this video: how do I calculate CAC? As with a lot of metrics, you can calculate this at a very high level, or you can get really deep into the weeds with your calculation. Now, at the highest level, you can think of your cost to acquire a customer as the amount that you spend on marketing holistically as a company for a given time period, and then dividing the total number of customers that you get within that time period. So for example, if I spent $10,000 on marketing in 1 month and I got 1,000 different customers, my customer acquisition cost would be on average $10. Now, this is pretty easy math. It's 10,000, which is my marketing budget, divided by the 1,000 customers equals $10 on average per customer. This isn't exactly perfect though, because just blending your marketing expenses together may not tell you the whole story. For example, let's say that you spent that $10,000 on marketing, but that only $8,000 was spent on paid advertising, which was driving all of your customer acquisition. And let's say the other $2,000 was spent on testing out direct email campaigns which don't get you any new customers. That would lead to a misleading customer acquisition cost because only 80% of the 10,000 was contributing to acquiring customers. This is why whenever you're calculating CAC, you want to be sure to only include the relevant expenses that are really driving customer acquisition. On top of this, it's really important to understand that customer acquisition costs tend to differ by acquisition channel. So let's go back to the $10,000 example, and let's say that I spent $10,000 last month marketing and $7,000 was on paid advertising, which got me 900 customers, and $3,000 was spent on influencer marketing, which got me 100 customers. In this case, the cost to acquire customers was quite different by channel. For my paid ads, my customer acquisition cost was on average $7.77. And I can find that just by taking the $7,000 that I spent on paid advertising, divide that by the 900 customers that I got. My influencer marketing, on the other hand, had a customer acquisition cost on average of $30. And using the same logic, I can just take that $3,000 that I spent and divide that by the 100 customers that I got. And now I can see that my average cost to acquire customers using this channel was $30. Once I've done this analysis, my path forward seems pretty clear. It seems like I would be much better off continuing to double down on my paid advertising because my customer acquisition cost is much lower. And unless I can get my CAC lower on influencer marketing, then I will most likely not want to focus on that channel. Customer acquisition costs, like any other metric in a startup, is a moving target. And in this case, you're always trying to optimize downward. You're going to consistently want to try new strategies and new ways of implementing the same strategies and measure to understand what is ultimately creating your lowest possible cost to acquire a customer. And the last thing I'll say here is that, like any other metric, it should not be analyzed in a vacuum. So if your customer acquisition cost is lower for one channel versus the other, but one channel gets you higher value clients on average, then it might still be good to continue to focus on that other channel. So continuing along with our example, if paid advertising only has a $10 customer acquisition cost, but the average monthly revenue that I get from customers that are acquired through that channel is $5, compared to the monthly revenue that I get from the customers acquired through influencers, let's say that's $30, then even though influencer marketing has a much higher cost to acquire customers of $30, I would still want to focus on that because the holistic unit economics of that channel are better. In this case, I paid $30 once to acquire a customer that pays me $30 every single month versus paying $10 to acquire a customer that only pays me $5 every single month. Again, I will come back and do an entire video devoted on unit economics as a whole. The point I want to make in this video is that CAC alone is not the end-all be-all for decision making. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you found this one helpful. Like I said before, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the thumbs up button. We really look forward to providing you more great content like this, so please stay tuned.